Alrighty, I'm up at the cabin today. We are going to be planting our food plot seed. I got several mixes here from buck.it, and we've got a lot of work to do, and we are already running late. Unfortunately, we couldn't get the seed in the ground before all this rain we've had the last couple days, and then we were pushed off because it was too muddy. So I got a buddy who's here to help me today. He'll be behind the camera and maybe jumping in on some of the work, and Harley. So we're going to get in the truck, drive around, kind of put together a game plan, and then we're going to get to work. Alrighty, so we're in the first main big field, and this is the most important field in the property because it's the biggest and it's the field that my gun stand is in, so I care about it the most. This huge field did have a great clover crop in it from last year that came up, but unfortunately we kind of neglected it and didn't mow it and weeds grew up. So I did spray this with Butarac, and it's supposed to kill just about everything but clover. It did an okay job. There's still a lot of weeds in here, but they're in the main part of this field. It's loaded with clover. It's just got lots of weeds in it. So what I did is on the border of the field, I have a section that's tilled up that I'm going to plant Harvest Patch from buck.it in that, and then in the two corners in front of two bow stands, I'm going to plant two other things. So there's going to be a lot of food in this field. And it's going to be kind of hopefully a destination food source with a couple little honey holes right in front of the stands. So that is the goal. I'm going to get my broadcaster loaded up. Normally I don't use push broadcasters like this. I use hand ones because of it's easier to have seed control, but this border is really big and it also has big seed in that Harvest Patch. There's cereal peas in it, so one of these pushings can be used for that. For the rest of the seeding, I'm probably going to end up using a hand broadcaster, but we'll see how much time we have today. I'm also going to mix in some red clover from buck.it into the Harvest Patch mix because I do want this field to consistently have clover growing in it everywhere. So we're going to get this loaded up and then get to work. Alrighty, so I finished planting the border, and that kind of sucks because I was using a broadcaster with little plastic wheels, and it's just not the right tool for the job, but we made it work. So next is I have this little corner of the food plot. This is going to be one of my little sweet spots in this big field, right in front of one of my bow stands. I'm going to be planting Party Time here, which is a mixture of turnips, radishes, and rape. So we got about 1/4 of an acre in this little corner here, so and I literally gave my dad one instruction, and that was to bring a new bag seeder up here so I could see it, and he didn't do it. So I have to use this dinky little cup thing, which is fine for a little plot like this. So get to it. Alright, so I'm in one of my favorite stand locations of this cabin. If you guys have been following me, this is where I shot Dagger and hit him. I've killed several deer out of the stand and just had great luck and great encounters in this corner. It's where I shot my first deer with a bow. Just very fond of this spot, and it's always great regardless of if there's food or not here. And for some reason in this corner, it's pretty rocky and we actually struggle to get stuff to grow, so a lot of times we don't even plant it. But we are going to try this year, and one thing to note is I left just a little patch up here. There's a couple pine trees on the top of this hill, and one thing I like to do is just add structures to plots or leaf structures to plots and kind of just break them up into different areas. That's kind of the reason why we didn't plant this entire field one thing. It's kind of segmented off into different areas so that I can do a variety of different blends, and that deer can kind of be dispersed and don't feel like they have to be all together. So I got my favorite stand right here behind me. I got those little trees out there. I know they're at exactly 40 yards from that stand, so it's a good yardage marker. And every year when those trees are there, they get rubbed on and they turn into licking branches, and it's just a lot of deer kind of gravitate towards those, so I like having that. But in this plot, we are going to plant some harvest patch. I've got harvest patch here, which is winter peas, winter triticale, winter rye, and purple top turnips. I like this blend a lot, and I am going to use the pull or push behind broadcaster again because it is a little bit, there's bigger seeds in this blend, and it would take forever with the little hand broadcaster. So I'm going to give that a shot, and this is just a little bit bigger of a plot. So I'm going to get some work done here. Whoa! I forgot that it's on video. I forgot that camera's been around the whole time. Alrighty, the big field is done as far as the border and the 2 honey holes go, and then we have to call it the packet yet, obviously, which I'll have my dad hop on that. All we're gonna do is we have this little rolling pin that goes over, kind of pushes the seed down, compacts it a little bit so that it doesn't go anywhere. When it rains, and just gets it a little bit of seed to soil contact, a little bit better seed to soil contact. So we're gonna move on to some other plots. Another thing that I'm gonna do today that I'm not going to show is in this middle section where it's really weedy and full of clover. I'm just gonna take some of my leftover seed I have from all the different blends and some seed that I had left over from Buck.it Ready last year and just broadcast it into the weeds. I'm not really counting on it to do anything. If some of it grows into stuff, great. If it doesn't, I'm not, like I said, I'm not counting on it. There's already loaded with clover in there. It's just weedy. So that's what happens when you don't take care of your plots the way you should. We should have mowed this way earlier on, but we don't have a mower that can handle this type of job. So that is something that I wish we did have, or that we could do a better job of, is manicuring this plot when it is clover, because in the spring it is just lush, beautiful clover, and then as the spring and summer goes along, it just fills up with weeds. So on to the next plot. The next one is in front of Dad's gun stand. Alrighty, so we are in the last big field that we have on our land, and this field is a little bit different. It's got this big hilltop, and it kind of gradually slopes down into a woods here. This area down here in the woods is one of our best funnel areas where deer travel this way. So this field, it's awesome to have food in here to get them to come out into shooting range during rifle season and both archery season. So my dad's gun stand is just in the woods down here, and he can shoot up onto this hill and into the field. And then we got a bow stand just on the field edge here as well. So on this top part of the plot, we're gonna plant Dirt Doctor from Buck.it Ready, because this has never been planted before. We killed it and tilled it for the first time this year. So that's just gonna kind of get the soil ready. There's some stuff growing in there to just help get the soil ready for next year's planting, basically. And then on the bottom section, we're planting some buckboot. Yeah, we have planted that before and had great success down there. Last year it flooded, so we did not plant it last year. There was some leftover clover from years prior, but we killed that and tilled that all in. So in the booyah, we have radishes, turnips, kale, and collards, and that will be a great plot as well. So this is just another kind of more of a destination source. It's nice because it's secluded enough to where deer can feel comfortable feeding in here, but it's big enough to where I think it'll draw some deer from a ways away. So the last push broadcaster has been quite a pain, and this is the last plot we have to use that for. So I'm going to try to get this over with as fast as I can. Alrighty, we are in our second to last little food plot here. This is the spot that I call the turnaround plot. I got to stand right up here, and this plot is an awesome spot because it's kind of in the shape of a bowling pin, and it points out into the swamp, so lots of deer just kind of quick come up here during the rut to check on things. I got a licking stick in this plot that they check out a lot. It's always filled with scrapes, and then during the early season it's just a great little micro plot, little hidey hole for them. So I'm going to plant some party time in here. One thing about this plot is I killed it all and it's really dead. I mean, we got bare soil out, but I was not able to turn the dirt over. Our four-wheeler broke, so I wasn't able to use a plot hog on this, which kind of sucks, and this isn't the best way of doing it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to broadcast onto the seed, and then there's some standing dead weeds yet. I'm just going to weed whack that down so that covers up the seed a little bit, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully we get a rain that packs it into the soil pretty quick here, but sometimes you got to work with the tools you have and the situations you have. So I'm going to get to it. Alrighty, I'm sitting here in my messy office just editing away. I've got lots of projects I'm working on for both Growing Wild and my wild media business, and I'm behind on a lot because of that Colorado fishing trip that I just went on. So keep an eye out for that Colorado video. It's coming soon. It was an incredible trip. But as I was finishing up editing this food plotting video, I wanted to give a little bit of context because it's a little bit later, coming out a little bit later than I normally post my videos. So we planted on August 14th. Today it's August 25th. Since then, unfortunately, there was just a light sprinkle a couple days after we planted, and then last night on August 24th we got a really good rain, and it looks like there's lots of rain coming this weekend. So my fingers are crossed. I'm saying my prayers, hoping that these food plots get some more rain because we really need it. I haven't been back there to check on the food plots yet, but I'm planning on going this weekend after the rain to see how they're doing, and I'll give an update then. Another thing is, with the busyness and just kind of being behind on everything, I completely forgot to film the last food plot we planted. It's another micro plot, very similar to the turnaround plot. It's on the other side of the creek in a great area. You guys have probably seen a lot of trail camera pictures from there if you follow me on social media. And you've probably seen a couple hunts come out of that area as well. So it's just this little micro plot, and it's kind of the same thing as a turnaround plot where we sprayed it with glyphosate, so it's completely dead, but unfortunately because our four-wheeler broke, I wasn't able to take the plot hog in there and actually turn the dirt over. So what I did is I just kind of roughed up the dirt a little bit, broadcasted the seed onto it, and then weed whacked the dead weeds over the seed to try to, cover them up a little bit so they won't be exposed to sun, birds, and just to try to get a little bit more seed to soil contact. And hopefully with the rain we've had, that pushed the seed down into the soil and we'll get germination. So if you guys watch this video and you want to follow along, make sure you subscribe because I'll be doing some updates, update videos coming soon here. Also make sure you're following me on social media on Facebook and Instagram at Growing Wild TV. I'll be posting photos and videos on updates there, as well as the trail camera photos we get over these plots. I'm really excited for this year. We already have a couple good bucks on trail cameras. I've teased a couple of them on the social media accounts, so make sure you follow along to see more. No sign of Dager yet. If you've been following me, you know that the 3-year saga of Dager is still going on. Hopefully we'll find him again this year. And if he's back, he's going to be an absolute giant, probably 180 plus. Last year he was 165 or so. Just an absolute giant. 2 years ago when I shot him, he was in the 145 area, and he just puts on a huge amount of growth every year. So if he comes back, it's going to be incredible. Regardless if he's back or not, though, we got some great deer to cheese. So make sure you subscribe and follow along. Make sure you're following me on the social medias. Hunting season is about to be here. It's about to get real. I've got more time now to get out there. I'll be duck hunting, dove hunting, goose hunting, deer hunting, trout fishing, doing all of the outdoor things. So make sure you follow along. Make sure you subscribe and follow me on the social media channels. I'll post them in the links below. Thank you for watching this video, and we'll see you in the next one.